Most e-commerce store owners know how much it costs to get a new customer. They check their ad dashboard, see the cost per acquisition, and judge whether the number is good or bad. But judging acquisition cost in isolation is like judging a meal by the price of the ingredients without knowing how many people it feeds. Customer lifetime value, or LTV, is the total revenue or profit a single customer generates over the entire duration of their relationship with your store. It is the number that tells you whether a $15 acquisition cost is a great deal or a terrible one, because the answer depends entirely on what that customer is worth over time. This video explains how to calculate LTV, what it actually tells you about your business, and how to use it to make smarter decisions about marketing spend, retention investment, and product strategy. Customer lifetime value can be calculated at different levels of sophistication, but the foundational formula for e-commerce is straightforward: LTV equals average order value multiplied by purchase frequency multiplied by customer lifespan. Average order value is the typical dollar amount of a single transaction. Purchase frequency is how many times the average customer buys from you within a given period, usually a year. Customer lifespan is the length of time, measured in years, that the average customer remains active, meaning they continue to make at least one purchase per year. Here is a concrete example. Suppose your store sells specialty tea. Your average order value is $35. The average customer places 4 orders per year. And the average customer remains active for 2.5 years before they stop ordering. Your LTV is 35 times 4 times 2.5, which equals $350. That $350 is the total revenue you can expect from a single customer over their lifetime with your store. However, revenue-based LTV overstates the actual value because it does not account for costs. A more useful version is profit-based LTV, which uses contribution margin per order instead of revenue. If your contribution margin per order is $12 after subtracting COGS, shipping, payment fees, and packaging, your profit-based LTV is 12 times 4 times 2.5, which equals $120. That $120 is the actual profit the customer generates over their lifetime. This is the number you should compare against your customer acquisition cost. If your CAC is $15 and your profit-based LTV is $120, you have an 8-to-1 LTV to CAC ratio, which is excellent. If your CAC is $80 and your LTV is $120, the ratio drops to 1.5 to 1, which leaves very little room for fixed costs and profit. The components of LTV each represent a different lever for improving customer profitability. Average order value is influenced by your pricing, your product mix, and your cross-sell and upsell strategy. A store that offers bundles, add-ons, and a free shipping threshold typically has a higher AOV than one that sells single items with no purchase incentives. Increasing AOV by even $5 per order has a multiplier effect on LTV because the increase compounds across every order the customer places over their lifetime. Purchase frequency is influenced by your retention efforts, your product's natural repurchase cycle, and your post-purchase communication. Consumable products like food, supplements, and personal care items have a natural repurchase cycle that you can accelerate with timely reminders. Durable products require a different approach, such as expanding your catalog to give customers reasons to come back for complementary or adjacent products. Email marketing, specifically automated sequences triggered by purchase behavior, is the most cost-effective tool for increasing purchase frequency. A well-timed replenishment email or a new product announcement to past buyers can add an extra order per year, at minimal cost compared to acquiring a new customer. Customer lifespan is the hardest component to influence because it depends on satisfaction, brand affinity, competitive alternatives, and life circumstances outside your control. A customer who moves to a different country might stop buying from your store for logistical reasons, not because they are dissatisfied. However, you can extend average lifespan by delivering consistently good product quality, resolving problems quickly and generously, and staying relevant in the customer's life through periodic communication that adds value rather than just asking for a sale. The stores with the longest customer lifespans are typically the ones that treat customers like relationships rather than transactions. Using LTV to make business decisions requires comparing it against other financial metrics in your business. The most important comparison is LTV to CAC. If your profit-based LTV is $120 and your CAC is $15, you can afford to invest more in acquisition because each customer generates 8 times what they cost to acquire. You could increase your ad budget, test higher-cost channels, or offer first-order discounts knowing that the lifetime value justifies the upfront loss. Conversely, if your LTV is only $30 and your CAC is $20, acquiring new customers is barely profitable and you should focus on increasing LTV before spending more on growth. LTV also helps you decide where to allocate budget between acquisition and retention. If your LTV is low because customers only buy once, investing in retention tools like email automation, loyalty programs, and post-purchase sequences will likely yield higher returns than spending more on ads to acquire customers who also only buy once. If your LTV is already strong but your customer base is small, acquisition investment makes more sense because each new customer generates significant long-term value. To calculate your LTV, start by pulling 3 numbers from your e-commerce platform or analytics tool: your average order value over the last 12 months, your average number of orders per customer over the last 12 months, and your average customer lifespan estimated from your cohort data. If you do not have cohort data, use the period since your store launched divided by 2 as a rough estimate for newer stores, or track when customers made their last purchase to estimate active versus churned customers. Build a simple LTV tracking sheet that you update quarterly. Include your current AOV, purchase frequency, estimated lifespan, revenue-based LTV, contribution margin per order, profit-based LTV, and LTV to CAC ratio. Compare these numbers across quarters to identify trends. Is your LTV growing because purchase frequency is increasing, or shrinking because your AOV is declining? Each trend points to a specific area of your business that needs attention, making LTV not just a number but a diagnostic tool that tells you where to focus your limited time and budget for the highest financial impact. Ecom Margin School teaches the business side of online stores: product margins, pricing, fulfillment, conversion, email retention, product pages, and customer experience. The channel focuses on practical e-commerce fundamentals, unit economics, and store improvement, not get-rich-quick promises. This video is general e-commerce education, not a guarantee of sales, profit, conversion lift, ROI, or business results. Outcomes vary by product, margin, traffic quality, pricing, fulfillment, customer service, and execution.